Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. We're in our new shop and it's absolutely a disaster. We could have done things differently, but we didn't. What we've got ourselves into is what's a creative situation with lots of room for improvement. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about some of the improvements that we have to do, some of the improvements that we can do, and then we've also got the next build that we're going to be kicking off has just pulled up in the parking lot. It's going to be the first build through the doors of our brand new shop. So let's get to it. Stay tuned. Before we jump into it, let's do a little quick word association. When I say today's episode is sponsored by, you think Raid Shadow Legends, and that's right. I personally love Raid for the PvP aspect, allowing me to go head to head with real people, and the amazing graphics with over 650 unique champions, all with great graphics. And their 4th anniversary just happened last month, so happy birthday Raid. And to celebrate, they've asked me to pick 4 champions I'd like to take to a theoretical dinner party. Here's who I've chosen. I got Bystaphus, because he's good with knife skills and he can cut up the food. Whirling Frost King, because he's got freezing spells, maybe he can make ice cream. Herndig, because he looks like he'd be a good drinking buddy. And Mithrala Lifebane, because she can fly in case we need anybody to pop out and buy supplies. And Raid has just added the live arena PvP, an extension to my favorite part of the game. Lets you duke it out against other players live, picking and banning champions before the duel to determine who is best. And there's some awesome rewards too. You got artifact sets and fragments for legendary void champions, live arena chests that unlock powerful new bonuses. So now is the time to download Raid, guys. Scan my QR code on the screen right here or use my link at the top of the description and you're gonna get some insane bonuses. We're talking to Epic, Champion, Kellen the Shrike, and other useful things. Energy refills, magic potions, XP brews. Just hit my link in the description and I'll see you on the battlefield. Thanks Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's episode. Let's get down to it. So as you guys know, stuff like this is extremely expensive. It's our largest overhead, it's our largest cost of running the business is having a warehouse to store the builds and to be able to work out of. And it costs a lot, and it's made possible by sponsors, awesome sponsors. Like Raid Shadow Legends is a company that has supported us for like 3 or 4 years now. It's absolutely insane the amount of money that they have helped us by sponsoring episodes and giving us so we can run this company. So I'm gonna ask you just a special on this episode. If you don't mind, go back, watch the Raid ad, download the game, play the game. It would help us out tremendously. Now, let's get started. Let's do a walkthrough of our new shop. This was a lesson learned. So this is our entryway right here. We can't really use a lot of it because I don't know if you know, but Portland, Oregon is like a crime-ridden city, and there are windows in here. That's why it's so light. And you can't put anything in front of a window, or even though the windows are all barred up, somebody will just break through and break into your shop and steal your stuff. So this is a room that we probably can't use. If we want to, then we're gonna have to either board up the windows or we can put covers over the windows. None of those options are really that good though. So maybe a one-way window covering, like a vinyl one-way window covering or something would be the best solution, I think. Leading into here, so a common theme you're gonna see is the ceiling falling down. This gross insulation, this whole place smells of mildew. The insulation is terrible. The kitchen, if you will, although the water works, that's about the only thing that works. I don't know why they put a closet in here. This is like, seriously, from the 70s. I don't think it's been updated since the, I don't know, maybe 80s or 90s. It's an interesting story with this place. So when we found this place, it was back in December. I've mentioned in many episodes that we've been tied up in legal documents and paperwork. Back in December, they said, you know, if you want to get this place, that's fine, but we need to do some repairs and renovations. So they have these sticky notes everywhere about this stuff. 1970s countertop, replace. Upper cabinets are fugly. 2 broken ceiling tiles. 4 dead 4-inch lamps. So they had all these plans to do all this fixing up, and I said, guys, I need a shop. I need it as fast as I can. You guys just let us in here and we'll deal with it as it is and we'll fix it up. And I don't remember it being this bad. I honestly think it's gotten worse. But then we got into the contract phase and we got so tied up with contracts and stuff that it took so many months that here we are in April, the property owners did 0 upgrades. They did no good stuff for us. We actually had to sign up to do a lot of the upgrades ourselves. And we didn't get in the shop any sooner. So that was a lesson learned. When we looked down, the flooring, it was linoleum flooring that got peeled up, and it left the glue here, which is real nice. So we're gonna have to get our own flooring and put it in here too. But over here we have another room with storage. We're not gonna show you the windows of it because I don't want to show the location of this building, but That's another room that has storage, but windows, which is a downside. So we'll probably just cover those windows. As we come around through over here, another room for storage and windows. And that is the extent of our proposed office space. Now, I do want to have a studio in here where we can film different things. If we're just talking about, say, new technology or something like that, I kind of wanted to set up a little studio so we could film. So that's something that we may do, and we may utilize some of these other rooms. We got one bathroom right here and another bathroom right here. And then the rest of what I'm going to show you is actually proposed to be demolished. It's part of the work that we're supposed to do by becoming the tenants, is demolish the rest of these rooms. So we figured, hey, it can't be that hard to demolish stuff, and we would do it upright. But come on in over here. I guess the lights probably work. This place, it's just like, it's kind of gnarly. Like I said, it all smells like mildew. There's an insane amount of crap wiring running around from previous tenants that we have no idea what it does, and the ceilings are literally falling down around us. So anyways, there's this room right here, which would be a potential for a great studio, or it could be, this does take up the footprint of a couple vehicles. So it may be a thing where we demolish these things once we need the car storage, or figure it out that way, or I might not get my studio, I don't know. This space overall was, here's a funny thing, reason why the contracts are so hard, it was 8,000 square foot for this building. And then as we actually measured it, it was significantly smaller. So imagine trying to deal with negotiations and contracts and lawyers on a building that's just like question mark square footage. Then there's this open space right here, which is just like, it is what it is. And back there is the bathrooms and stuff like what we just walked through. So that is the office space in our building. If we do the demolition, it really takes the office space number down a lot, which is good for us because we don't need a large office, but we do have some stuff that gets stored. Now, welcome into the warehouse area. All right, so this is the warehouse. One of the first things that we noticed right off the bat, it's really dark. There's a lot of dark spots and everything like that. So I told the landlord, hey, we'd like to upgrade the lighting. And they said, if you would like that, then you should do it. So that's one of the things we're on the hook for. We need to be upgrading the lighting throughout this whole entire building. Luckily, we already have a lighting sponsor. The light just got delivered recently, right? And yep. So we have tons and tons of lights to relight this entire area, which is really, really exciting. We've only been here for a few days, but you can see we've already got some deliveries. This is actually a large format 3D printer. This is an FDM, like the nozzle, you squirt plastic through the nozzle, a 3D printer. It's the largest one in the entire world. This came from, I want to say it came from Israel. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, it came from way another continent away, and it prints 7 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. So it's a massive footprint for a large 3D printer. It should be able to allow us to 3D print a thing like a bumper in one go, or a front splitter in one go. It's gonna really change the game of how we manufacture custom parts, so it's pretty cool. And then we also got a shipment from Harbor Freight. This is a bunch of stuff for the camper van that we're working on that you will see shortly. So let me walk you through a little bit. I mean, it's a massive warehouse, so it's not exactly the most technical walking-through, but I'll walk you through it and show you kind of where we're planning on putting everything. First, let me turn you around and show you how disgusting and how big of a mess. This is what it looks like. That's the office space. All around is an absolute, it's an absolute joke. It's also very, very echoey in here, so we're gonna work on cutting that down, mostly by filling it with cars. That'll really help. So we've got a lot of cleanup to do all around there and just making this whole area look nicer, and also this was on the docket for being demolished. So demolition is up for grabs. The walls are gonna be painted. This is just old walls from like 3 tenants back, and yeah. So the idea is to have cars coming off of this back wall all the way through here, but then we're also gonna build a mezzanine so we can go up a little bit, like another level basically, and put some offices above the cars. So I wanna be doing the video editing and stuff. Right now I do it at home. In the future, we're gonna be doing it up here. So we'll have several computers, 3D printing station, probably sim driving rig, and a few other things, and that's gonna live on top on the second level of a bunch of cars. As we walk around this back wall right here, hey, would you be surprised if I told you the roof still leaks? Another thing that we, had to wait for things to be fixed was the roof to be fixed leaking. It's leaking there, it's leaking there. So that's a big yikes. But that one I'm not on the hook for. I don't have to worry about that. I just got to call somebody and they got to deal with that. as they dealt with it many times before. So cars are going to wrap through there. Cars are going to continue to wrap around this wall over here. And then cars are also going to go on this back wall all the way over here. At some point, Benpack did send us a 4-post lift, so we have a 4-post lift that we can finally utilize, and that'll allow us to stack 2 cars high, but also do underneath suspension work. We got a lot of plans on the Jump-A-Con and different things like that, and that's going to allow us to work underneath cars really, really easily, and that'll be integrated probably on this wall. So that leaves this center section right here, kind of between the posts, a little bit more than between the posts, to be our work area. This is where I plan on us doing the majority of the builds. Is all going to be kind of like right here. Moving forward over to close to where Zane is in the corner of this area right here. That's room for 2 builds to go on. And differently than we did in the last shop, everything's going to be built out more mobile. So we're going to have carts that have different things on them that can roll around and be positioned around, but there's not going to be like one corner where we throw all the tools anymore. A lot of electrical is going to come from the ceiling. Oh yeah, speaking of electrical, there's no 110 or 220 at all in this entire building along the wall, so that's another thing we're on the hook for. We get to distribute all the electrical, which will be a fun thing to learn. Although we don't get to do a lot of it, we have to use a licensed contractor, which makes sense. You don't want to burn the building down. So we'll walk this way a little bit. This is a pretty long shot. It's like 110 feet or something long. Gives us a lot of space. This hole is not ideal for driving cars in and out, but we have our exit garage door over there, which is large enough to bring the truck in, which we did check out. And the idea is once we fill up this massive, the cars will keep going down this row right here, and if they fill all the way up, then we'll have kind of more like fabrication workstations over here. But we have the potential to do another build like right there. So this shop is large enough, although the footprint is smaller than our last shop with the white floor, we'll call it. The last big shop we were in, it's actually smaller, but because of the layout and how it's more rectangular, like getting more square I think is best for car building, but it's a lot more rectangular than our last one, which was skinny and really, really long, which didn't help us a lot. This one's more rectangular and gives us the space. So the big upgrades, like I said, that we got to do is we got to either demolish or clean up a lot of this stuff. Build out the studio in here, get the wiring done, all new insulation because it smells like crap, probably all new ceiling tiles as well. I've never built a drop ceiling, but that's what they have there, and I'm sure we can fix it up. We're gonna be painting the walls, we're gonna be epoxying the floors in here, we're gonna be running electrical and running all new lighting. And that's the big plans for our new shop. We have this place signed up for a lease for the next 37 months. So this is B as for Build's future home, and we're gonna be here for a long time, so we gotta build it as nice as we possibly can so it can handle all of the future plans that we have for it. And speaking of future plans, let's talk about the new build. It's a Tesla! Well, as you can see, like I mentioned, the lighting's not great, but this is our Tesla 3 Performance Edition. This goes 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. It's a dual motor, really, really zippy car. And I showed you guys this car when we bought all the different Teslas, but we're finally jumping into this build. And the beginning of this build, I'm not even gonna tell you, I'm not gonna tell you the whole build because the likelihood of this thing working out is very, very small. But we have to do some discovery first. So the next build that we're gonna be jumping into is actually something that I think is really, really interesting. I hope you guys will as well. We're gonna be taking this car apart piece by piece by piece until we hopefully tear it all the way down to just being a Tesla skateboard. It'll look something like the Mustang when we pulled the whole body off. And since this car has so much electronics and so much smarts, we're gonna be pulling every panel, every headlight, the roof, the A-pillars, cutting everything out, pulling absolutely every single thing out that we can until we get this car to just be a running and driving Tesla skateboard. If we can pull that off and we can get it small enough and we can get the dimensions down enough, then I will bring in the donor car or the actual car that we want to put the body of onto this. It's a super high-end exotic. The car retails nowadays for $250,000. So I'm not really gonna unveil it and just try and throw it on here until we're sure it's gonna work. Because if not, we'll just restore it the classic way without using a Tesla. One of the interesting things about Teslas that makes this really hard, the wheels are way bigger than you would expect. They're like 21-inch wheels, but we could downsize on the wheels, but the wheelbase, the distance from here to here, is longer than pretty much any car in production ever. Since there's no engine in the front here, the distance between the front axle and then the dashboard, where the dashboard starts in the driver's position, is very, very different. That's why I haven't seen anybody really body swap a Model 3. If you body swap a Model S, you can restack the batteries that are underneath, but when you buy a Model 3, the batteries have to stay where they are. So it's a very interesting problem, but if we could pull it off, we could take this old exotic that I got and make it super, super reliable. These cars are actually very reliable, and they go fast as hell. So I just think it'd be super fun to be able to rip around in complete silence with all-wheel drive, tons of power. It would be really, really rad. It's just a really, really challenging build. If you ever want to Google the wheelbase compared to other things, I mean, this wheelbase is 5 inches longer than my Range Rover. It's so long, the distance between that wheel and that wheel. It's not something that you think about when you look at cars, but it's like a whole wheel difference than most small compact cars. So it's crazy. When you're driving in it and you just look behind you, you really realize how long this car actually is. I've done all the work that I can do on a computer in 3D, generating different schematics and different things like that. I think this is possible to pull off, but I'm not 100% sure. So what we do first is we tear down the Tesla, we try and get it into shape, then we bring in the exotic. If the exotic works, great. If it doesn't work, then we'll find a different body, a different build to put the Tesla powertrain underneath. Like my 68 Camaro is pretty close to the right wheelbase. I believe a 1970 Dodge Charger is actually larger, so we can expand it, which is way easy. It's way easier to make the wheelbase longer than it is shorter. So that's what we got in store. We're gonna be also working on our camper truck at the same time, and we're gonna get it to a point where we can bring it in here, and we'll be working on shop upgrades as well. So we've got a lot of stuff to do all at once. So this is obviously a big new change for us. It's an awesome shop. We're really, really excited to get moved in here and just do the improvements to make this place our own. But thank you guys so much just for watching. Your guys' support means the world to us, and it makes all of this stuff possible. So another huge milestone for B is for Build. We appreciate you all so much, and I hope you subscribe so you don't miss when we get tearing into this thing, which should be in 2 episodes from now. See you then. Peace! Come on.